Hi, Jim. Thanks for taking the time today. A bit of a two-part question for you here. Just your thoughts on the difficult decision to allow Jacob Markstrom to go to free agency. And, when you see the term and money that he got, just your thoughts on what he's meant to this team and how difficult it was to let him go. And then also what you're getting in Braden Holtby, who you've brought in to replace him.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm extremely happy for Jacob and his family today. For him to sign a contract like that sets his family and him up for the rest of their lives. So he's been great with us. Like when I first got here, he was here, but we ran the whole gamut with him. We sent him down to Utica to work with Dan Cloutier, develop as a goalie. We brought him up here, and through the development, every step of the way, he just kept getting better and better. And then when he started working with Ian Clark a couple of years ago, I think he took his game to a whole other level. So, I joked with Ian this morning, like you're doing too good of a job with our goalies. You're getting them to the point where we can't afford to keep them anymore. And he laughed, but so we're happy that for Jacob and stuff, but we're going to move on. Getting Braden Holtby, we're getting first of all, he's just a great person. He's a total team player. He's looking forward to working with Ian. He had Mitch Korn in Washington before, and Mitch and Ian were close. So he's excited to come to Vancouver to join our organization. Excited about our young players and our team. So we think it's going to be a good fit.
Next, we have Farhan Lalji, TSN.
Jim, can you give us any kind of an update on Chris Tanev and possibly even Tyler Toffoli? There had been some suggestions that you guys had circled back on Chris. Anything to those two?
Yeah, we're still talking to Chris. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, and I just got off the phone with his agent here a little while ago, and we'd like to bring him back if the numbers make sense and the term makes sense. We'd love to have him back now. So he's going to sleep on it tonight, and we should have an answer hopefully on that tomorrow morning.
Thomas Strantz, The Athletic.
Jim, as you've gone through this week, and whether it's the qualifying offers or the buyouts, and where you sort of sit looking at what remains of free agency, why do you think in retrospect, can you talk us through two decisions in particular? Jake Virtanen, qualifying him, and it seems that he filed for arbitration today, and then also the decision not to use the buyout window.
Okay, well, Jake Virtanen is a player that we've drafted, we've developed, we've spent a lot of time with. Scored 18 goals in 68 games for us last year. He's still only 23 years old. We think he's going to be a consistent 20-goal scorer for us moving forward. There's been some growing pains along the way, as there is with lots of good young players. So, we're going to try to figure out a contract for Jake and bring him back next year. And then, what was the other? Oh, the buyouts. Well, we looked at the buyouts. I think we're in a position where it didn't really make sense to, the buyouts that we could have used or maybe would have used. It wasn't going to save that much money on the cap for us, so we decided not to do it.
Jeff Patterson, TSN 1040.
Jim, earlier in the week, you didn't want to discuss the trade discussions that you were having with Arizona. Now that it's water under the bridge, I'm just wondering, even in generalities, if you can tell us, in your mind, how close you kind of felt you were maybe to completing that deal, and did talks continue even this morning up until the free agent window opened at 9 o'clock?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you'd have to ask them on their side if we were close or not. We negotiated through the week to see if we could figure something out that made sense for them and made sense for us. I think we gave them our last offer this morning. They didn't think it was acceptable. So I just said, okay, well, we're going to move on, and we got other business to attend to. So, and that's what we did.
Patrick Johnston, Post Media.
Hey, Jim, just on that note, you still have, a few holes in your roster to fill. Are you expecting to fill those with other signings, or are you still pursuing some other trades perhaps?
All of the above. We're looking at everything, all of our options. We'd like to try to sign, some of our own players still. I've talked to teams about trades today. So, I think this free agency period, it's not going to be like in years past. It's like, a 5 or 6 hour deal and it was all over. This could be like 3 or 4 days, even a week. We could be doing business in this free agency. I've had a lot of calls late this afternoon on trades where maybe teams weren't in on, free agency, but they're looking to make a trade. So we're going to keep all of our options open. And if we can continue to make the team better, that's what we're going to look to do.
Ian McIntyre, Sportsnet.
Hi, Jim. A couple of questions about your goaltending. First of all, with Jacob, do you feel comfortable that you went as far as you could and that you did everything you could to keep him? And also with the idea that Jacob could leave, did that make it vital in your mind that you didn't surrender Thatcher Demko to anybody in trade? Because there's been reports that he was asked about.
Yeah, Thatcher Demko is, he's of the age of our other good young players. And, he's a player that, we drafted, developed. He's up and playing now. He played in the playoffs for us. I thought he was outstanding. We don't know yet next year what it's going to look like. They're talking maybe if we do bubbles again, we need 2 good goalies. Like if we're going to play like every second night or, every night, we need 2 goalies to withstand, the amount of games that we're going to play in a short period. Braden Holtby, after we signed him, he talked to Ian Clark, and then he wanted Thatcher Demko's number to talk to Thatcher. Like, this is the type of teammate that he is. Like, he's, he knows what we're trying to do. He's going to be a good goalie for us, but a real good leader for us, and he'll help out with Thatcher's development. And so, we're happy that, he chose us to sign with us, and we think it's going to be a good fit with him and Thatcher together.
Gemma Karsten-Smith, Canadian Press.
Building off that question, Jim, how do you see Holtby and Demko working together? Do you see it being more of a 1A, 1B, or Holtby backing up Demko? What do you envision here?
Well, like the answer I just gave, I think we're going to need 2 good goalies. And, we've always had 2 good goalies, here with Jacob and then with Thatcher, working together. Now, Jacob's gone, but we got Braden in here now with Thatcher. So I think, they'll push each other. And, I don't tell Travis who to play. And, Ian does a great job of running the goaltenders. So they'll have, some sort of a system where they'll both get to play. And so that's one thing I don't worry about next year. I think we're going to have real good goaltending.
Daniel Wagner, Glacier Media.
Hi, Jim. Holtby is coming off a bit of a down year with Washington, .897 save percentage. What role did Ian Clark play in identifying him as a player that you wanted to acquire? And do you think that Ian Clark can bring out the best in him and lead to a bounce-back season?
I do believe that, Daniel. Like, I think, Ian is excellent at what he does. Every goalie that we've ever given him, from the start of the year to the end of the year, you see how much they improve, including Jacob Markstrom. Like, he's done a wonderful job with our goalies. I know, Braden had bitch corn in Washington for a while and thrived under him. And Ian Clark is, comes from that same school of thought as far as goaltendings are concerned. And, I expect Ian to, do an excellent job with them. And I think he's going to have a real good season for us the next couple of years.
Back to Thomas Strantz.
Jim, as you assess this market, and we haven't seen too many players sign, especially among the bigger names, aside from goalies, are there names that interest you, some value that you perceive to be had still among the players remaining?
Well, I think I would answer that by saying we'd like to try to, get some of our own guys signed, and we're going to continue working on that today and tomorrow. And if we can, figure out a way to get our own guys signed, I think we'll be happy. So we're looking at everything. We're looking at, trades. If there's players, free agents still out there that make sense, we'll look at that. We're keeping all of our options open.
Jeff Patterson.
And Jim, you've been at this a while. You know that growth and development isn't always linear. You guys raised the bar pretty high with the playoff performance, but this doesn't look like a free agent period where, you're going out and bringing in a bunch of players. So how much of improvement, overall team improvement, is going to have to be improvement from within?
Well, I think it's going to be a big part in, the improvement of our team next year and how we do in the standings. We're going to play some young kids. We think Ole Ulevi's ready to play. Jalen Chatfield's, ready to play. Hoglander's got off to a good start overseas. These are our guys when we come to training camp that we're going to take a good long look at. And, we think they're ready to play in the league, and they're going to just keep getting better and better. And with their development, it'll make us a better team.
Great. We'll take a couple more questions. Next, Farhan Lalji, TSN.
Jim, we've seen other teams they've been able to shed themselves of some challenging contracts. How hard have you tried to do that the last couple of weeks, and how challenging, if not frustrating, has it been?
Well, it's been a big challenge this year with with this pandemic and the flat cap going forward. It's been almost impossible to shed money. Like we see, real good players going on waivers and stuff for teams to try to move money. So, it's going to be, the business part of the hockey is going to be different here, I think, the next couple of years. And, I think we're in a good position. We have money, so, we got to re-sign Petey and Quinn next summer, and Thatcher. But I think we're in a good position where we can get those guys signed and keep moving forward.
And our final question will come from Patrick Johnston, Post Media.
Just on similar terms, Jim, what is Sven Baertschi's future with this team? I think some of us thought he might be a buyout candidate, but as you said, there weren't a lot of savings to be had there.
Yeah, so Sven will come to training camp, and we'll see where he's at and where he fits, and if he deserves to be on the team, he'll be on the team, and if not, then he'll be depth for us, and he'll call him up and play games for us. And so that'll be up to Sven, how he comes and performs at camp, and how he looks like when we start back up playing again.